Wonderful people. You took me by surprise there. You really did. I was too busy looking the other way, and I suddenly, oh God, they can see me. The curtain is raised. The curtain is raised, and you are applauding. And oh gosh, well, thank you, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Metaworld News. This is where we bring you news about virtual worlds, interactive, collaborative ones mostly, and a bit of the old what's happening in the tech side of things, including haptics and whatnot. And yeah, okay, pause for a second. I'll introduce myself. My name is Mal Burns. MAL is the first word, BURNS is the second word. But if you want to find me on Twitter, you're going to have to squash me. I don't like being squashed, but I accept that it may be necessary on occasion.
It is
So
our
you can
life.
go.
That's right.
Yeah, I know, it's a terrible life. Yeah, I feel like a sardine getting squashed everywhere on the interwebs. Anyway, if you want to find me on Twitter, you can go to twitter.com/MalBurns, MALBURNS, the squashed version, I hasten to add. And we have a secondary feed, which I will be. It's more sparse, but it is there, and I've got three things at the beginning of the show to go with it, which is twitter.com/MetaWorldNews. Again, two words squashed. That name, of course, comes from our show here, which is also called MetaWorld News.
Hmm.
Oh, the magic of all sorts. And adding insult to injury, the phantom voice is actually the person sitting here beside me.
Ah,
That's I don't mean I got that wrong. Insult to injury is not what I meant at all. Anyway, James Atloud is here. Welcome, James.
no, thank you, Mel. As always, I'm really happy to be here.
And you are certainly loud with the peace and love today.
I am. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? This is, let's see, let me put up the name here. This is a free shirt from someone we enjoy often. Neo Zero is the designer, and this is just a nice glowing shirt with has a little promotion for Neo.
Ah,
It says Neomatic, and Neo Zero is doing a lot of women's fashion this week. But had
ah.
this very lovely. I'll look in the audience. Very lovely glowing shirt.
Yeah, it's sort of the peace sign too, and it's psychedelic. It's psychedelic and it's moving.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, I think I will probably get one of those if I can remember to go and find
Oh
it.
yeah,
So
sure. I can of course send you a link.
Neo store, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Neo
please.
Zero, right? Neo Zero,
Yeah. Oh, I see. Neo and then
and then
okay. I've got
zero,
it.
right?
Right.
That's
So there's no
that's my reading and pronunciation.
there's no separation between Neo and
Right,
zero. But oh well,
right.
we'll find out anyway. Yeah. Look at the cameraman, all on his own on a different shard, away from the real audience.
That's
Dear me.
right. That's right.
Yeah. I
Poor
don't know.
fellow.
I don't know. All on his own. So it's meant to be a social world. You're meant to join the audience
Yeah, yeah.
and applaud with them and all that stuff.
All that stuff.
All that stuff, indeed. Okay, but he can't do that because James, as his want, is filling with a lot of knobs.
A
Now
lot
he's
of
looking
knobs.
at me again. Now stop spinning that camera around in the shard.
It should be
I've been
back.
sharded. I've been sharded.
Right.
Yeah, James is also fiddling with his knobs as usual under the table there, and the knobs sort of control camera angles and sound and all sorts of things. So he's responsible for the sound effects and the sound of me, and he's responsible for the different. And I can do some.
Mm,
Yes, that's fun, isn't it?
that is fun.
Right. Not telling, but I got a toy linked into the machine today. There we go. Right. And yeah, I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh yeah, so he can then switch between different video angles of me sitting on the seat here, so it's not always a static face looking at you. And best of all, he can share my desktop. So the very things I'm talking about at any given time are probably on my desktop while I'm talking about them, which means they're probably on the screens here, and they're probably on the screen that you're watching, whether they're an inset or full screen or whatever. I leave all that to James. I wouldn't have a clue at any given moment what the show looks like, which is probably also the best. Or I'd stop getting finicky on air, wouldn't I? I can't
Mm.
have that. Yeah, he says. Okay, so that's James. Thank you, James, for
Mm-hmm.
that.
Certainly.
And yeah, without further ado, I should announce that what you're about to hear are the week's headlines. Yes, they are for
Oh, yes.
the week ending the 17th of October. Um, Now, those of you with a brain, you know, with your head screwed in properly, may just realise that because the headlines, these are the headlines until the 17th of October, this automatically means that we're broadcasting live on the 17th of October too. In fact, you may even be watching us live on YouTube, although I suspect many of you will be watching later. Apart from those wonderful ghosts in the audience here who are very graciously here and are showing their appreciation. Aren't you, folks? So they laugh.
Mm-hmm.
This time they laugh instead of applauding. Well, no, I've had enough of you folks. I'm going to just get on with this show because that's what it's all about. Reading. I'm a newsreader. Come on, I'm not a entertainer or comedian or anything like that, God forbid. Right, let's get on with it. Get on with it. Um, I know. So James can. Oh, we lost a picture on the screen anyway. So my first item on screen today is from our old friends at Hypergrid Business. The first, the link to this you'll find on twitter.com/hypergrid. Good. Twitter.com/Metaworld News. Right, that's where you'll find a link to this piece. Um, it's the first one of the week. There's another one coming up. It's about Globits, the financial thing that OpenSIM uses. Globus is still having problems, and some grids are actually trying to fix the payment problem on their own.
Oh.
Despite the headline that you see here, which is mostly talking about Maria Karlov's other enterprises, before it's scrolled down, Avitron, of course, that's the yo-yo grid under his 100,000 incarnation, and they were the ones who reported payment issues. But apparently they're failing all over the hypergrid, and
Oh, no.
nobody's able to reach Chris Colosi, who runs it, for help. That sounds very unusual for him. I mean, maybe he's on holiday, maybe he's got COVID, who knows? But hopefully, the Facebook page hasn't responded, so who knows what's happened to him. Anyway, Discovery Grid and others were going on about it. It is worth getting a Hypergrid Business Con for this page, actually, because as is often the case, especially ones that Maria authors, the headline with the article is actually the headline for the first paragraph. And there's actually a whole load more that you wouldn't even know was here. It's unless you sort of scroll down. Anyway, Globit is the main thing here, and something is ding-a-linging at me. Oh, it's my calendar. Something I'm up and coming, am I? Right. Okay.
Popular.
Yes, well, it's actually an alert for the other show in half an hour, which we don't do in half an hour anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We'll review in 30 minutes. Thank you. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll learn more about that anyway. So you find that at hypergridbusiness.com, and I'll put that one away. And I'm now going to open the same site again, although the link for this one is actually different. Basically, this is reporting. Well, this is David Karuki's reporting on here, but Maria has been putting stuff out with the OpenSync Community Conference coming our way in a couple of months. She's been running her questionnaires and stuff that she does annually, basically, so she's got something to talk about at the conference. So she's had results from quite a few grids, but still has been wanting others. I think the closing date for the questionnaire was yesterday, actually, so we'll see. OpenSIM Act is up by 107. That's user numbers. Land area increased by 673 standard regions, or the equivalent. And the OpenSIM's public grids, that's the ones that are not hidden behind firewalls, etc. They registered 875 new users. That's across, the various hypergrid linked grids. Most added this month are hypergridable, she says, which brings the tally of hypergrid-enabled OpenSIM regions to 96,872, which is 97% of all the area they track for stats. Yeah, this is Statville. This is what Maria is good with.
Hmm.
She's talking about outworlds, of course, which aren't included in the basic stats because they use a different system. I have a grid which, when it's online, is part of the Dream Grid system. There are an additional 2,787 um, uh, Dream Grid installations. So you can add, basically, in terms of grids, you can add that um, to the other table a minute ago. And the Hypericus robot has crawled over 6,300 grids since the start of this year, and it tracks items in databases, regions, parcels, objects, events, etc.
Mal, I'm
Uh,
losing you. I'm losing your audio for some reason.
oh, golly, golly, golly.
Yeah,
How's that?
that's good. That's good.
Okay, I think I was probably too busy tilting my head away from the screen and
Oh,
looking at that.
uh-huh.
Okay, let's do that. Do that. Um, no, but the only reason I can do for turning away from the screen is that I can go.
All right.
Yeah. I need it in the right hand, but that would mean rewiring everything. Right.
Hmm.
Okay. So popular grids, etc., etc. So this is all the meat of the OpenSim. OpenSim, for those of you who don't know, by the way, is a bit like an open source, to the end user at least, it's a bit like an open source version of Second Life. There are many grids, some quite big, nothing like Second Life, of course, and some small and some private, but they are all linked as a rule by the hypergrid. So you can jump between simulators, grids, as easily as in Second Life. You can just jump around Second Life, and that makes it a really pretty vast enterprise. The hypergrid connecting up, these smaller regions kind of into one. So that's that. It's all I would say is that people talk about the metaverse and everything else like that, but in a way, OpenSim is probably still the ideal template for a metaverse. As in some ways is Second Life, but Second Life is a walled garden, whereas the principle of OpenSim is the hypergrid and the connected grids and being open source and everything else, and interconnectivity and collaboration, basically. It can look a bit dated at times, but that doesn't detract from its core functionality. Right. Anyway, enough editorializing. Finally, we have this too. Um, it's an embedded video from Littlefield Grids. Bang, bang, kaboosh.
Wow.
Okay. This is Littlefield on YouTube. It's Littlefield Grid's Halloween Island, and Littlefield Good is the way you want to subscribe. And because they're open sim and everything else, we'll just give it a little play here. Hi. And I'll pause on that so you can see the address. Yeah, so yeah, I've only given you a bit of that, of course, but it's the same in Second Life, and open something everywhere. So anywhere there's avatars, Halloween seems to start 2 months before it really happens. Most of you will know historically that Halloween actually happens at the end of this month, which means we've got at least 2 weeks to go yet. But we've been celebrating it apparently in some places for the last 2 months. Slight interruption at the moment in Second Life because they're also celebrating Burn 2, which is a Burning Man thing over in Second Life. So that's sort of gone to the top of the charts temporarily, but I'm sure Halloween will be back on top within a week or so. Anyway, stop being cynical, Mal. Stop being cynical, Mal. I am new. Right, okay, so let's remove that one. Having a look at it, you probably have time to write down that address if you need it. And right, we're now moving into where we normally start the show, actually. This is the XR Wheat Peak. It is from the Scar of the Ghost, Tony Padillo. So, yeah, SKARREDGHOSD.com and cue the music. Well, the sound.
Did it go?
No. Okay. Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
I don't know why it doesn't work. There it goes.
Oh, I gave it a few special effects anyway. Fair
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was on a Zoom thingy with him the other day, so I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
I wasn't participating, but he saw me and welcomed me
Okay.
on air, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Tony's Scar Ghost, as he is known, this he publishes every Monday, unless something's really busy and it's delayed to Tuesday. This was Monday on October 11th. In fact, it's his look back at the week gone before, and of course, the week gone before on Monday is 2 weeks ago for us now. But it's a very good place to go and round up with stuff, and he does feature stuff that we don't include on this show. For example, VR fitness games, a lot of more VR hardware type stuff. And oh, I'm
I'm sorry, I didn't think you would hear that.
somebody needs to invent, what do they call it? Sellotape for cats.
Mm-hmm.
Or for mouse anyway. Meow. Links. Oh, is that the connection? Links.
Sure.
Links is a cat. Right, I
Mm-hmm.
get it. I get it. Oh God, I'm slow, aren't I? Right. I wonder why the feline actually perked up. It's got the word links around floating around here. That
Oh,
means
I
you
was
get.
I was pushing the wrong buttons. My apologies, Mel.
Oh right,
Try to understand why the thing doesn't work sometimes.
I thought you'd learn to read as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other relevant news, etc., etc. Low Negative is launching. Actually, a lot of what is included in here is sort of stuff that is way beyond my remit these days. Um, Uh, a lot of speculation the week before last, of course, about Vive Flow and everything else.
Right, right.
We now know, of course, what has happened there. In fact, great news this week. We've got two devices that actually resemble glasses more than helmets, and at an economical price as well, which is even more astounding, really.
Amazing. Yep.
Anyway, enough of that already. If you want to read more about that, you can go to scarghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com. And as always, follow my links on Twitter, twitter.com/Mark Burns. And if you click on the headline of these articles, it will take you to the exact page. Unfortunately, when I'm reading out the address here, all it shows me on my screen is the actual site as opposed to the long link for the article. But I'm sure you can all figure it out. Right, moving down my list, and oh, good golly, gosh golly. Right, this is the site called sciencedirect.com. And this is basically one of those academic paper things, really. Um, and that's just the intro. Um, okay, a systematic review of immersive virtual reality applications for higher education, design elements, lessons learned, and research agenda. And I have a feeling that the reason that looks so short is that if I can just toggle the web page, I think it's a PDF. Yes, it is. Yes, indeed. So you can read the PDF or as a PDF or highlights or whatever. What you're seeing in reader view that I was giving you there is actually just the abstract for the whole thing. But if you go to the website, you'll get the works. Right. Okay. So that was sciencedirect.com. Two words squashed together. SCIENCE ENCEDIRECT.com. And dispose of that one and moving down. Guess what? Guess what? It's the first of two this week for the Voices of VR. As you can see, we're well past the. It's not a centenary, is it? We're past show 1,000 now. We're on 1,007. So I
Millennial?
guess
Would that be a millennial number?
probably, yeah.
1,000
We're just, that,
millennium?
we're just
Okay.
we're gonna have to. I'll just call it number 7 for the new lot of 1,000.
Yeah.
Wonder how long it would take to get there.
Right.
Anyway, this is about applying biometric data to enterprise VR apps with HP's G2 Reverb Omnicept Concept Edition. Yes, well, there had to be, didn't there? We're really interesting, that edition, that is, yes. Yeah, I know. This is basically an audio interview, but he does give a little roundup of what they're talking about here. His conversation is with somebody called Scott Rawlings, who's the manager of the HP G2 Reverb Omnicept platform. I'm not going to read that again. Anyway, and yeah, you can listen to the podcast from the website at voicesofvr.com, or you can actually find via just about any podcast player you'll be able to look up and find Voices of VR and subscribe to it. So occasionally has a week off, but quite often it's 2, 3, maybe even 4 things a week. Especially if he goes to an event and records lots of interviews, he then I guess he's register them, and then they'll come up in a rush. So anyway, that's number 1,007. And 1,008 is coming in a while. I think. Right, moving down, vrfocus.com. Now, this is interesting. This was earlier in the week, of course. Magic Leap, the for a long time very secretive people, they switched to enterprise focusing not so long ago, but they've now released details of the Magic Leap 2. They've managed to get $500 million new funding. They seem to be very good at fundraising, these people, I have to say, ever since the beginning. When nobody knew what it was, they were fundraising like hell. Okay, they teased the first image. Oh, yeah, here we are. To help bring, I think, the Magic Leap 2 to the market. One way or another. Okay, that's the only picture we got here. These actually are more like, I would liken them more to goggles. When you're a kid, especially, I suspect, when you learn to swim and go swimming, you don't want to open your eyes underwater or all that stuff. So you got these rubber goggles on. They sort of cling to the outside of your eyes and go around your head to stop the water coming in. But of course, they don't look quite as elegant as a pair of stylish shades. They're definitely goggles, but at least they are not helmets. Yes, big difference. So they've got a pair of central cameras on this, and there's 2 additional sensors below them. And well, I'm not going to go into all the specs here. I must say they look nice, and the HTC 5 event has now actually happened, because remember, this is all earlier in the week. So I'm going to. We didn't really have much to do in the photo front this week. There is a nice graphic I had behind the scenes for a while, but I did come across this picture, and I find this rather odd. I'm not sure I'm not sure whether this is the Vivey one or the Goggle what one at all. But it looks
That's the Flow. That's the Vive Flow.
That's the Vive Flow. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this looks very suspicious to me, and it took for somebody who used to teach people how to do this, although not how to do this, but how to use Photoshop. I realised after a while that hand, right, is clearly photographed a lot nearer to the camera than the actual device, and it's been montaged on to give you the impression that it's closer to the goggles, and therefore the goggles are even smaller, because this came with the headlights, came like unbelievably small.
Oh.
But of course, if you actually take that hand away and actually put another real world object beside it, you'll find they're not nearly as small as they look there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, It's a camera trick, but in fact, if you look closely at the outline of the hand, it's rather too crisp. It may be anti-alias, but it is definitely a cutout of sorts or moved position. So yes, that was a bit annoying there. Well, I got the pictures up. Hang on. Here's one. I don't know where it was, but this was some kind of interactive thing with Minecraft and Minecraft, I
Hmm.
should say, and a live audience, as you can sort of see there, a bit pixelated, but yeah, it's like a stage event with It doesn't look very exciting, Minecraft, does it? But the people in the audience seem to be rather excited, holding up all these things, and yay, yay, we're fans. And what else have I got here? Oh yeah, this was a interesting zooming. Well, it's a video thing from called Meta Panels. There's another platform called Core out there, which is not half bad, but it's getting focused. Um, but they had a sort of meet at the Future of Live Music. They had a load of panels during the week, and this was called Future of Live Music. And the second guy along there, Joel Deadmore Zimmerman, is actually quite famous. Not my sphere of influence, but it was a great talk. Basically, different musicians there talking about how they've been using virtual worlds and stuff, and simultaneously with the Zoom bit at the top there, they were screen sharing the actual the scene where they were inside Core, which is the platform that they were there, and this was the whole thing going on a week. The Core game people basically sponsored the whole Meta Panels sort of serious chats event all week, and I think maybe for even longer. This was the first panel anyway, and sort of a different format, obviously, but it reminded me of a load of sort of meta music was an event we used to hold in Second Life back when meta was an acceptable prefix for things. Right, okay. Why anyway? That's my diversion here. There's my diversion. I don't think there's anything else picture-wise here that's relevant to us. No, it's not. So I'll put that one away. Right. Okay. But I thought I'd show you that because yeah, that is not the Magic Leap one. Anyway, there's a picture of the Magic Leap one. This review, as I said, is at vrfocus.com. Sorry, vrfocus.com. And swiftly moving on, we get to theglobalist.com. Now, this I thought was a really worthy article of reading, and it really surprised me, unless I'd missed something, that a lot of people that often sort of this is one of those links I found, and it's it's not from any regular source. It's from a magazine called The Globalist, a bit like a New Internationalist. THEGLOBALIST.com, and well, even the title of this sort of, we didn't really sum it up. It's fairly grand, Wars of the Three Spheres: the West, the East, and the Metaverse. Are we capable of negotiating our collective future? This is about the future of the planet, right? Not just poxy VR, if you see what I mean. Right, it's not a customary view, but the world may be seen as three spheres that vie with each other. One turns around the United States, which includes Europe and others. Another turns around China. Don't mention Russia, will you? A third turns around all things digital, and control and dominion of the latter sphere, that's the all things digital sphere, subject to major tussle, applying both within large corporations versus political power, even in China, and from without the major rivalry between the great superpowers or civilizations. Uh, Sometimes I wonder whether some of those superpowers are actually civilizations or not, but that's another thing. Right. Um, in other words, there are two physical spheres or worlds made up of atoms in geography, including outer space, plus a virtual one. Though to paraphrase Hegel, the virtual does not cancel out the real. Anyway, new in the history of humanity, etc., etc. Um, lot to read here. I'm not going to read it all out to you, or this, I should. This would be like sort of mummy's storytelling, wouldn't it? Take another 3 hours to read the damn thing. In some respects, the East knows the West much better than the other way round, and the metaverse will know us all. And no mention of the God Emperor there, but if he has anything to do with it, this will be true too. Anyway, interesting sort of article from an old source that it is effectively mentioning something that might be described as a metaverse, and basically, well, all things digital. Maybe that's what the metaverse really is. Okay, so as I say, you find this at theglobalist.com, TheGlobalist.com, and a good little read, that one. All right, now talking of the God Emperor, roadtovr.com here, ROADTOVR.com, and yeah. What happened there? Right, image courtesy of the God Emperor. God is giving. Oh, yeah. He even supplies his own picture. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. Never mind. Right. So Ben Lang here talking, of course. The image they're talking about is the iconic one, but it's not showing up in the reader mode here, so never mind. Horizon is shaping up to be a social VR offering with powerful building tools that allow players to create and share their own words. But equally powerful are the tools the company has baked into Horizons for monitoring users and enforcing Facebook's version of appropriate behavior. Yeah. Little Puritan God Emperor's idea of what appropriate behavior is. Mind you, don't forget she's spending 2 million of Facebook's money to go on a course to teach him good behavior. So, along with Nick Clegg in tow. Oh, that's an expensive course. Who knows? It probably won't make any difference to his attitude at all. Right. Editorial here. Really. Let's say they're reporting. I can't say they're. Like they say, unsettling is the word that comes to their mind when they think about Facebook's Horizons features. And don't blink. This is the start of the M word. I would argue that this turn of events is the end of any mechanizable use of the M word. I mean, it's everywhere. And really, everywhere it appears, there needs to be a corporate prefix attached to it, in my opinion, just so we don't get confused, because there certainly is no absolute there. Anyway, find out at roadtovr.com, as I mentioned. And another dig at the Zuki, amongst others. Billionaires see VR as a way to avoid radical social change. In other words, this is not tech companies leading social change or whatever like that. It's exactly the opposite. Tech oligarchs are encouraging the creation of virtual worlds as a cheap way to avoid the problems of the real one. In other words, God Emperor Zuki does not want to go to court or give evidence in Congress or be scrutinized or put on trial. He just wants to disappear into his own metaverse and take the rest of the world with him. Get away from it. Not quite that simple, of course, but future virtuality is far more than just video games. Silly. Silicon Valley sees the creation of virtual worlds as the ultimate free market solution to a political problem. In a world of increasing wealth inequality, environmental disaster, and political instabilities, why not sell everyone a device that whisks them away to a virtual world free of pain and suffering? Well, you can see where this article is going. It's worthy of a read, but as regards that last sentence, I would actually add, well, you can't sell everyone a device that whisks them away, because unless you make it affordable to the people who are really suffering pain, as it were, that really doesn't stand up. There's no device out there, even though everybody seems to have mobile phones, even people who rights shouldn't be able to afford them. Um, these days, that is far from having access to virtuality or a world that will take them away from reality, and it certainly won't take care of their real world problems. The promise of VR is to make the world you wanted. But of course, it's not possible on Earth, at least, to give everyone all that they would want, etc., etc. Not everyone can have Richard Branson's private island, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, thoughts and ponderings, etc., etc. there. So this is actually at wired.com. This is the international, or rather the American edition of Wired, WIRED.com. And yeah. All right. Moving down the list here, we're back to the God Emperor again. If social media can be unsafe for kids, what happens in VR? It's maybe we've had a similar post to this before. We've had everything about the Zuckerberg horizons and the M word and everything else like that. But basically, Facebook itself, as social media, is so unsafe for kids. This article is actually saying, well, what the hell will happen with VR? A far more powerful and emotive medium than social media. And the God Emperor is in charge, or will be in charge of all of it. I'm not sure it will even come about. Actually, with a bit of luck, he'll lose all his money fighting court cases and stuff, and coping with the number of hours his services are offline at the moment these days. But the reality is they're trying to push the thing left, right, and centre. Reading the blogs, I don't really include here not much anymore. I mean, there have been reports on Facebook doing stuff all week, and you read these things, and you wouldn't think, they're major things that it's planning on, and you wouldn't believe it's facing all the problems it's facing, or it was in a way the way they talk about these things, you wouldn't believe they're actually probably all quite a way in the future yet. Yeah. Definitely, Zuckerberg is definitely sort of running around in circles trying to get people on board his thing, and hopefully people will have more sense. Is all I can say, really. Where was I with the address here? This is Slate, by the way, slate.com, and right now we come to the second of this week's Voices of VR posts. Podcast 1008, and this is actually an interview about HTC's Vive Flow, which is bang up to date. I hasten to add. I mean, I think this was published on the same day that Vive Flow was announced. Immersive glasses aiming to be the tablet of VR. Now, as you can see, compared with that little hand we saw on the other picture. I think these are the ones that hand had been superimposed upon. They are quite big. They're not the smallest thing ever. And they do actually look like the sort of thing when I was a kid and at school, and we went swimming. I was certainly one of these people that wore goggles. And they look to be about the same size as those goggles. They come out a bit further because there's obviously stuff in the lenses. But, that's not just a proper thing of glasses.
Mal, your audio's breaking up again.
Oh, this blasted thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Is it just going off axis? Is that?
No. Well, no. I'm
Okay.
leaning right forward to it now.
Okay.
But I think it's
Okay.
it's actually playing silly buggers, doesn't it? So
Yep.
who knows?
We have a lot of
Right.
that today.
Yeah, actually, oddly enough, bang on 6:30, half an hour before we came on air here, Virgin Media cut the internet connection here it went
Oh,
down.
wow.
I rebooted the router and it was back again. It's always happening, but it's just it always seems to choose a time to do it. It's mess around. It's like Sunday at showtime,
Right, right.
I think they think Sunday is the day when people don't use the web, but I think they might find, if they did any research, they might find that's exactly the opposite. Anyway, not just me, but I mean, people are at home, aren't they? Especially
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
COVID's over and people are not over. Of course it isn't, but people are actually going out more and work, and so Sundays are home days still much more than it was before. Anyway, talking of the goggles, they're the goggles. These I kind of think. I mean, for $500. It's a pre-order at the moment, shipping out in November. I took a look at this and I thought, um, I wondered about whether this would be worth having. Um, they're 189 grams. They're meant to be kind of light, described as the tablet of VR. You have to have your own power supply, so it'd be on a battery pack, or you plug it into a USB port, or use your phone's plug into your phone for battery purposes. Um, it's a new market for VR. Folks who are focused more on lifestyle applications like watching a 200-inch cinema screen on an aeroplane, immersive meditation apps, casual gaming, or productivity apps, which are probably accounts for most of what I do,
Oh, okay.
rather than jumping into virtual worlds per se. Um, So HTC, I mean, obviously you've got Kent Bai's interview, which we covered a minute ago. HTC is not sharing a lot of details, though I don't know. He probably did share a bit on the interview. You're probably a power user already, wanting full embodiment, and if so, this is not the best option since you have to use your phone as a 3D OF input device to select options and scroll. Okay, Road to VR apparently has more on that with the technical details here. Where we are. Okay, but their podcast is really looking at the way it fits into the overall ecosystem, as Kent is saying there. Yeah, so find out more about that. As I say, I mean, I could see myself putting a pair of those on. My only qualm is that they don't look like if they're meant to be portable, they don't actually look like they will fold up, go in a pocket. The arms going behind the ears do seem to be rather rigid there, so not fold away like sunshades are, but interesting enough anyway. So that is voicesofvr.com. And we'll move on down. We're back onto the Magic Leap one now. And this is Road to VR. They're saying that they won't make a consumer headset, although arguably in terms of the price of this one, it might be consumer. They've pivoted into the enterprise segments for quite a long while now, even though they started on consumer ideas. But they've actually said that they may actually license their tech to someone that will actually want to make consumer devices. So it does sound like they're going full steam ahead with new stuff, possibly for the enterprise environment. But if somebody comes along and wants to use their tech to manufacture a consumer item, then it sounds like they would be willing to license the technology for that purpose. So yeah, there you go. Right. Okay, fairly short roundup there. So that one's at roadtovr.com, roadtovr.com. And we move on down the endless scrolling to an end. This is easily in sight now. Okay, this is Charlie Fink at Forbes.com, Forbes.com. This is his end of the week review of This Week in XR. Big funding for Magic Leap, Axie Infinity, Army pauses HoloLens development. That can't be very good for Microsoft, but yeah, that's that, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
As often with Charlie Fink, a lot of technical behind the scenes, almost industry news, as it were. Some of it's of use to consumers, I guess, but he's yeah. It's a short roundup basically, and and this is the written version. In other words, it's Golden by Charlie. You'll find at Forbes.com. Coming up shortly is the video version, which is now back to being a video one as well as an audio one. forbes.com is Forbes.com. I'm sure I probably didn't even need to spell that for you. Right, now, another one that got retweeted from my feed quite a bit. Sense Glove Nova is something that's beginning shipping worldwide. It's Sense Glove are one of the premier manufacturers of haptic and tracking gloves for XR and robotics. And on Wednesday, their newest model, Sense Glove Nova, when it started shipping worldwide. Now, again, a dubious fashion statement if you're going to walk down the street with that on. But there again, half the helmets and glasses are. But if it does its job, it does its job, and it could be
Oh, Mal, I've lost your audio entirely.
one hand on my mouse and
There you
one hand.
are.
Oh God! Well, no,
Now I hear
I've
you.
lost.
I hear you now.
Right. Okay. Well, something's fishy. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no connection problem here. I checked when you said you'd lost me. Okay. What can I do? I mean, the microphone is too. Well, I wouldn't be in any danger of swallowing it. It's one of these big bulbous things,
Oh,
but
okay. All right.
don't know how to position myself and actually read the screen at the same time. I will endeavour to lean forward a bit. Yeah. Anyway, so from you know, instead of holding my mouse as I am now, maybe I will be putting a glove on to interface with the computer, and obviously something like that would allow me to interface much more with a, say, virtual world on screen as well. Um, Now, the DK1, the previous line, was specifically for VR research. Um, and where are we? Right, this was previewed at the Consumer Electronics Show, I think. I'm just trying to figure out where this is for a headset. Oh, hang on. It's lightweight, wireless, and compatible with standalone headsets. Easy to pop on and remove.
Mm.
Um, doesn't say whether it's got any function over and beyond headsets as an actual interface device. Mind you, it is 5,000 US dollars per pair.
Mm.
And if you want 10 or more, you can have a discount, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't see too many people rushing out and from their game rigs and queuing up to get that on tomorrow morning. Okay, but interesting device anyway. Sense Glove Nova. um, also Sense Glove are based in the Netherlands. It says here, so
Mm. Hmm.
it's not another Facebook item or HTC item or Magic Leap item. It's coming in from our centre, as it were. And oh, good grief! I thought there was two, but now there's three. Right, we have a third.
Mm.
Voices of VR for you. This just arrived. I guess it was yesterday or the day before. Curating immersive stories and building web XR events with Fivers founder Karen. Well, you can read. I can't. Right, that's from the festival. Fivers is the Festival of International Virtual and Augmented Reality Stories, which is a hybrid
Oh, yeah.
event with IRL and Los Angeles. And it started on Friday, but odd day to start, actually, the 15th. And it runs through to October 22nd, which is probably all of this coming week. And yeah, well, basically, Kent has gone and interviewed the curator of that too, and provides various links you can go to here to read more about the actual event itself, as well as listen to the podcast. And as always, with Voices of VR, you can just look that up in any podcast player and subscribe to it from there. So, put that one away, and we really are more or less at the end here. Um, Now, we mentioned earlier actually Core. I showed
Get
you
this extremely
in the
high-tech
picture
3000.
thing. I showed you a picture of the music panel that had happened in Core. In fact, earlier in the week, it's from a game company called Manticore, by the way. Um, and they describe it as a game creation platform with stuff with things to do. So it really does sort of qualify as a virtual world as much as a game because you can use it to make games, but other stuff too. Um, it describes itself as an endless arcade because obviously it's still got that gaming thing. The new platform is a surprisingly well realized vision of the M word thing. this metaverse thing, everyone seems sure to be talking. Okay, I'll read you the whole sentence. It may say, um, surprisingly well realized vision of this metaverse thing everyone sure seems to be talking about lately. It builds this portal to the multiverse, and it's primed to test the old age proposition: if you build it, they will come. Whereas giant companies like Roblox and Facebook might have huge established platforms, Core has laid some very compelling groundwork for creators and players alike. And remember, this is the sort of thing that worked for Second Life back in the day. It was for creators and players, if you call them players, residents, or whatever. It was something that the users, the community, effectively decided the direction for. Well, it wasn't advertisers come and choose the way it goes. It's just the way it happened, kind of thing. Uh, Very lucky for Linden Labs in many ways. The users did all the work for them. They just provided the service and charged money. So it's pretty good deal really. Right, logging in, players are transported to Core's central hub, a fitting cross between a theme park, a high-tech mall, and a casino. With entertainment and shopping, a few gravitationally unburdened strides away in every direction. It also looks a bit like Fortnite as opposed to Roblox. That's not a coincidence because Core is made by Manticore Games and it runs on Epic's Unreal Engine, as indeed does Fortnite, which explains some of the similarities. And one of the intro screens there. So I do definitely have an account here, and I opened it, but I didn't open it this week for this thing. I'd opened it before, so I need to go back in there and investigate. In fact, I didn't. Well, no, I can't remember entirely offhand. Where I got it from. It might be the Steam store or something like that. Oh, and here we are actually. That I showed you earlier a still shot from the music panel they were holding, and there are more panels this week, I believe. Deadmore 5 is Joel Zimmerman. Um, oh, yeah, right. So that's an early sneak peek. That figures if it's Friday. So I reckon most of the panels are actually going to be happening this week. So might well be worth checking out. It looks nice too. I should have made a point of telling you that. One of these very rich sort of environments, as you might expect from the Unreal Engine, of course. Uh, Core looks light years better than the interface you find in Roblox, for example, though that platform's users have never seemed to mind. So they're giving it a good review there, and I certainly thought it was worthy of featuring here because it is clearly a platform that is not just a game. Because you can create games with it as well as do stuff in it, and that sounds like it's like almost an open world. So this article, by the way, is at techcrunch.com, techcrunch.com. And might put that one away. Now, my final plug here is one that came in, I think it came in yesterday, actually, not today. It's actually a newsletter from Rob Krasko. He's Robland VR on Twitter. In fact, I had him on some kind of panel a couple of years ago, actually. He doesn't tweet quite as much now, but he's there. And he's launched one of these sort of aggregate newsletters that collects together, stuff he's been tweeting and whatever during the week. So it's another of these good roundup things. He puts the link there on Twitter, but the actual site is getreview.com. That's GETREVUE.co. Sorry, not com. And obviously, there's a full address for that that I haven't got because Get Review is a bit like a Medium or something. It's a sort of publishing house for people to sort of do their aggregated thing from. Anyway, it covers spatial computing, a few photographs again. It's That's the HTC one there, which is lightweight for lifestyle and entertainment, limited gaming, he says. Um, Sensor Glove again. A lot of what's here are actually simple comments that he made during the week right, on Twitter. This I've got one of these sort of things. It's not this one, but they do the same thing for me. I look at my Twitter account. It says Mal Burns has just tweeted, and I think, no, I didn't. But this automated AI newspaper has actually tweeted for me, and it's just collected what it thinks are my best tweets. But it's not just mine. It finds all sorts of other tweets, some of which have absolutely nothing to do with my area of interest. Like, you think these poor people are going to click on this thinking it's me having just tweeted something, and I've decided that on average, it is better to have it than not have it. But even so, I wish it had a bit more sense. But there again, we know what AIs are. They're not renowned for having sense. Mostly because the people who program them haven't got any sense most of the time. Oh, I'm a marketer. I'll make an AI to con people into this, that, and the other. What do you get? You've got a marketer, an AI with all the sensibilities of a marketer, Yeah. And more about core there at the end. But anyway, I thought this is a worthy thing to add to your if you actually go to the site getreview.com, you can actually subscribe to it, and I think you can get it delivered via email or a link to the web version. So that is it for the texting this week, and we're now moving into the video department, as it were.
Videos.
And the ones at the top here are actually the most recent ones. Between Realities, back this week, of course, with featuring Gamertag VR. I'm going to actually go through to YouTube now, fix the visuals on YouTube. Oh, bugger!
Are you so ready?
I had to plug in to kill the ads, and it's not working, is it? Right, tough. I'm right. Sorry, excuse my language, but that is unacceptable. I've got two plugins to kill. It worked on something earlier, but not that one. Okay, I forget who Brett Leonard is. Let's see what we get. If you play it straight from here. Oh, sorry.
Good morning, everybody. It's October 15th, 2021. I'm Charlie Fink. I'm here with Ted Schilowitz. It's This Week in XR. And we've got a very special guest this week, director Brett Leonard, famous for making Lawnmower, but an entrepreneur in his own right, who's working on some interesting trip tech. But first, let's get to the news. Good morning, Ted.
Morning, Charlie. It's always nice to see you on a...
Right, well, this is the video version of Charlie's. It's not a video version. His the Forbes thing at the end of every week is really just a list of highlight events. This is, along with Ted and whoever their guest is more a discussion of those things. So they're sort of separate things. And in fact, this, despite having the same name, the podcast here has actually nothing whatsoever to do with Forbes. I'm going to just get you click through for the sake of giving you. Oh, okay.
Good morning, everybody. It's October 15th, 2020.
Right. So the This Week in XR is the name of the site at YouTube, and of course, when you get there, you can subscribe to it. This is one that's almost every week and is well worth subscribing to. They did have one a couple of weeks ago for Rosedale, and there was no video version of it. Oddly enough, I still don't know why. But no, they're normally pretty interesting. And even when Charlie and Ted are on their own, they somehow managed to fill 20 minutes or so of interesting chat. So let's hit the back button there, which is what we have to do here. And yeah, the first one now, as I said, was Between Realities.
That was a headset, right? And not just some, something referring to something else.
Like a launch chair.
Yeah.
Dude, it's paying off because not only is the VR community getting hyped as a result of the work that he's doing, but also he's gaining some fucking traction. Like,
Not sure who it is they've got on the screen there. Their guest. Oh, come on.
like things, which is crazy because I mean, it's virtual reality, it's murder simulation, a lot of it, right? So what the heck?
Oh my god.
It's like mostly killing people.
Yeah. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Absolutely.
And for the PC, there are some really expensive gun peripherals that are absolutely amazing. That really.
Okay, I'm going to pause that one. I can tell you that Between Realities is not in the name of the podcast, but it's also the account you need at YouTube if you want to look that one up. As to because I'm mostly more and more concerned with games these days, but they it's always a good conversation. Although unless you're heavily into games, some of it can get a bit obscure at times. Okay, so from earlier in the week here, well, 3 days ago at least, what is Odyssey Momentum? This is an open source Web3 metaverse stack for collaboration. Okay, I forget how long this is.
Today I'm going to do a little video about something called Odyssey Momentum. It is what you would get if you would merge a collaboration tool like Trello or Miro and you combine it with something like a massive multiplayer online role-playing game like EVE Online. My name is Wendel Bouwman. I am the founder of a hub, incubator, accelerator and publisher for indie game developers. And aside from that, I also do some other things like organize game jams and hackathons for social.
Okay, I'm going to hope we don't get any ads.
Today I'm going to do a little video about something called Odyssey Momentum. It is what you would get if you would merge a
Okay, well, having come here, I can show you here the account you need. Oh, I have to describe myself. ODYSSEY Odyssey is the account name at YouTube. And I imagine their product Momentum will be getting a bit more traction later. So this would obviously be worthy of clicking on to get more news. They've got other... but that's their awards thing was 10 months ago. So this one is basically him just chatting as an introduction to it. But I found it rather fascinating, the platform itself. See if I can...
for camera and voice to be used, because this collaboration arena is all about connecting people that can help each other. And if you cannot see the people you meet, you cannot hear them, it's not going to be personal, it's not going to be engaging. Okay, once that is out of the way, you can start traveling this little galaxy. You are this little wisp, as you can see right here in the center of the screen, and you can use it to fly around and explore. And as you explore, you will find many, many spaces. Now, right now, this is what Momentum is, a series of floating spaces on rings around this Earth-like globe where people can meet, collaborate, and organize themselves. There you can do quite a lot of things. You can have your own space, and you might want your own space because either you have a challenge that you want to have solved, or you might want to have a space because you have a team that wants to solve one of these challenges. Either way, it's nice to have one of your own teams. And on your team spaces, you can do quite a lot of things. So for example, you have a dashboard, and this dashboard allows you to create a lot of tiles. Maybe you could say like a digital pin board. You can pin memes, but you can pin questions for team members or other people participating in Momentum. You can post videos. Doesn't matter what you want to post. It's like a giant noteboard that you can...
Right. I have to pause somewhere, don't I? There's actually only 7 minutes of that, but it's still too long to play it all. What was quite interesting was the very beginning of that bit where I just moved forward. They were giving a sort of tutorial about microphone, camera, video, and stuff like that. And it does occur to me that this might be a sort of place it'd be worthy of popping in to see if one of those little circular platforms could be used as a broadcast studio with all the built-in display systems and everything else. It did have that kind of look to it, but again, there's no indication of what, say, an avatar would look like if indeed they've got them there.
Yep.
So technology-wise, though, rather interesting. I think I could see that it's open source for one thing as well, and it runs on the web, so that can't be too bad, or Web3 anyway. So yeah, I'm going to sort of trying to install that, I think, at some point. Not to keep in for the Odyssey, the Arts virtual world site, which actually is a portal into the Odyssey collective in Second Life. But I don't think you've made that mistake anyway. He says, right, back button. Pain, we have to reload every time here. All right, moving down. And guess what? It's our regular one from the beginning of the week, which is the VR download. Although if you want to find this at YouTube, you're going to have to go to upload VR. Yeah, I know. Doesn't quite make sense, does it?
Just a little dyslexic. Yep.
Yeah, the YouTube site you want to get is upload with a capital E, then small upload, and then capital VR at the end. But it's all one word if you see what I mean. It says upload VR. And this particular show is called VR Download. They have a number of other one-off things and a secondary show about games, mostly later in the week. So a good place to subscribe. Yeah, this one. Well, they were looking at Vive Flow, but again, they're a bit ahead of the curve. They did actually have their avatars back this week.
They did. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess Facebook decided to behave themselves.
All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to another episode of VR Download, a weekly show broadcast live from Upload Virtual Studios. We are here. We're in the two-seater studio today because it's just me, your host, Kyle, along with over here to my left.
Hello, everyone. Ian Hamilton here. I'm trying to figure out, can I take control of the camera away? I've been recently taught that I can take the control of the camera away if I press secret keyboard commands, and I plan to use that power this hour.
Yeah. In case I'm doing goofy things with my hands and you don't want everybody to see it. That's because we are doing hand tracking here. Hey, cool. Look.
Okay. I can't play it all.
Right.
1 hour, 5 minutes. James, you presumably watched it all too. So, any thoughts on that? Your favourite program, as it were, isn't it? Or one of them.
I enjoy the program, yeah. And what was interesting, you did mention they're talking about the flow, and they were still waiting for some news about it, and then just a couple following days, their technical fellow in Ireland, David Heaney, actually got a hold of one and did a hands-on test with it. So it was quite that was enjoyable. But they were speculating on what the flow would be and what it would do. Yeah. Again, just fun to watch them talking about the possible technology.
Yeah, as chat shows go, they're a good team. Which is keep you engaged.
That's right.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Well, they get good information too, which is useful.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I didn't post here anywhere. I don't think that follow-up thing from later in the week, but who knows? Okay, one more thing I've got here, which is from 5 days ago. When was October 10th? Oh, no, that's the week before. Okay, one more from this week. In fact, the final thing, obviously. I haven't actually started watching it yet, but I've got the set of, I don't know, it's eight episodes from Netflix of Squid Game. I think Squid Game is sort of about a game, but it also has been made into a game, if you see what I mean. It's doing very well. It's one of the most popular things out in the gaming thing at the moment, possibly because of the tie-in with the Netflix series. And I'm going to give it a go. It sounds like it's a bit unique. Last thing I want is to find myself watching a zombie shoot 'em up kind of thing, but I think it is a wee bit more intelligent than that, or intriguing than that. Anyway, you can go to the game. Here it is.
Caroline, it's I used to run marketing for thousands of retail locations around the world, and if I could have flashed forward to the current person I am today, the message would be loud and clear. I think any brand out there, if you don't have a metaverse play happening, you need to think about it. It's the one way that you can connect to this young audience of gamers right where they are with their passions in a super organic, natural way, and create a persistent relationship around your brand, one that carries over from digital to physical. So it really is the kind of modern ad model that's at play here.
Okay, so if I'm playing Squid Games on Roblox, these mini games, how do you, I know you've just made an acquisition, an ad platform. You must be thinking a lot about how you make that experience organic. How do you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Bloxbiz is a company we recently purchased that has a relationship with 75 of the top Roblox game titles, reaching 25 million monthly players. So it's just a massive footprint inside the Roblox metaverse. And there's really two primary ways that we interact with those brands and connect those brands. The first is we have embedded advertising ad units in the game. So just like if you're playing a game and you're running outside inside that universe, you're going to pass a billboard, right? Just like you would if you were driving in your car down the road. But then we also can take it a step further. So recently we did an activation with Nickelodeon for a new TV show they were launching. And we did a 10-day takedown of the game where we actually reskinned the game themed around the characters of the new Nickelodeon show. And in those 10 days, we drove 50 million visits to that game. And we also equated to about 164 years of gameplay in that 10-day period all around those beloved Nickelodeon characters.
Talk to us about advertising inherently within gaming. Of course, there's been a lot of pushback about advertising within social media and a lot of the ethics that come involved in that. How are you taking that, thinking ahead of the game in that respect?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, a big piece of Super League has always been about democratizing good gaming, and we have a pretty high bar on code of conduct. We have about 5 million strong.
Okay, well, they did go through quite a bit there. That was from the beginning, so I think the Squid Game may have been near the end, but I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to, this is actually Bloomberg, I believe, but I'm going to quickly click through.
Caroline, it's I used to run marketing for thousands of retail locations around the world, and if I could have.
Yeah, here we are. Bloomberg Technology is where you want to go through for this clip. That's Super League Gaming is Anhan. Yeah.
Super League Gaming is a stock.
Oh, stop it! Those of you might have wondered, that was I call her Madam A. I didn't actually ask a question.
I didn't hear the trigger word, right?
Yeah, well, I think it was the.
She just decided you need to know something.
Yeah, she decided she'd heard something and needed to actually elucidate.
Right.
Or, well, I don't know whether elucidate is quite the word, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, so Bloomberg Technology is where to go for that. And obviously, Bloomberg are pretty big. They have quite a lot of different shows. That's only 6 minutes long, but as I say, I think the Squid Game bit may be near the end. Right. And actually, what was nice about that is that Bloomberg is an American guy, but the interviewer there is very definitely English, English. Yeah, I recognise. So. Okay, well, believe it or not, we're at the end of everything.
Oh,
we are.
The end of everything.
The end of everything. You always sound so.
That sounds so final.
Yeah, well, it is. It's sort of the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I can, of course, bring up maybe a picture or something to keep us going while we talk ourselves out. God, this is taking long too. Oh, it's lost its place, hasn't it? There we are. Right. And
right.
It's definitely lost its place.
It's smaller.
Oh, I quit it. That's why it's lost its.
Okay.
It's lost its zoom factor. Oh no, it's too much.
Well, that's big.
That's big. They've only got half the word in. Right. Zoom out. There we are. And now I can lock the zoom until I quit. Right. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So I think that's really about it. Just having a look here. We did a few from Hypergrid Business at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Just check my own feed here. and got these little lovely little widgets down the side of my screen here. Yeah, nothing new per se. And what's the other one here? Oh, this is Malbone's writer, which of course is another identity completely. And oh yeah, for those of you interested in Second Life, I'm not going to load these or anything like that. But Malbone's writer is another Twitter feed, twitter.com/Malbones_writer. A video here of a group called MadP who make these wonderful game sort of things in Second Life. They've launched one for Halloween called Cirque du Mystère, and I posted a YouTube promo for that. There's a YouTube promo for a virtual cafe called the Witch's Brew Apothecary, which is moody. Mm-hmm. And I've got a Latin dance thing. I'll pass on that one. Okay. Well, I don't think it's got an embed to go with it. So yeah, there was another one. A lot of the art galleries that I tweet in that feed obviously have sort of Halloween specials and Burn 2's Live October, etc., etc. So yeah, quite a lot. I think there's usually more going on in this feed than in my other two feeds, oddly enough. But it's, you know, if you're not in Second Life or don't intend to go into Second Life, then it's a bit off centre, so to speak. But it's certainly the Halloween has got things going there. Very much an open sim as well. You know, sort of. I get them on my Discord server, as do all my members, for the OpenSim sort of events happening throughout the hypergrid, basically, and they just pour in by the day. So there's a lot going on there, which again is becoming Halloween themed at the moment. Anyway, yeah, that was just a little button because it was there. And I've got a USB thingy that's getting hot. Shouldn't be getting that hot. Right, okay, so James, your thoughts on all this and everything?
I'm curious to see the Squid Game. I've been watching the show, and so kind of funny. It's in Roblox. Did you say? Is where I guess it's a mini game, is what that story was about.
Oh right, yeah, I haven't quite found out where to get to the actual game itself.
Yeah, but I can assure you there are no zombies in Squid Game. If that helps you make a decision.
Yeah, no, I've loaded it. I've got it there ready to look into. The one I'm watching first tonight is Dune.
Ah, okay.
Which seems to have arrived early. It was meant to be October. Oh no, hang on, it's 17th. Yeah.
It's the 17th. Yeah.
It's the 17th.
Here we are.
Yeah, I might start on Squid. Yeah, okay.
The squid thingy. Yeah.
Oh, what are we here? What's what happened here? Resonance. Plasma ignition. Ooh.
This is a Doctor Who episode?
No, this is my toy on the iPad.
I know.
We actually have... Oh, it must still be loaded. Hang on a second. Let's just see if we can treat our viewers to something before... it must be loaded. Because, there we are. So, yes, you can see this, folks.
Yep.
This is my iPad screen, and we're looking at something... I forgot what it's called. It's one of these fiddly things, right? And you can sort of press on the keyboard. But you can head up the keyboard, you'll see where the red line goes, but you can also go in with directions. Follow the red line. Lovely, lovely. So, yes, as James knows, I sort of figured out a way of bringing my iPad
Mm-hmm. Yep.
onto the screen here. And believe it or not, I created to do it. The simplest way to do it was to create a fake Zoom call to myself, which is live and recording, if you see what I mean, but going nowhere. And then go to the screen share button, and anything with an AirPlay, Apple's AirPlay, running can then be loaded as a screen into Zoom here. So this is actually my iPad, but it could equally be my iPhone or another Mac or anything that actually, even some TVs or apps have AirPlay enabled. So it's, yeah, obviously to be AirPlay, it's got to be local, you know. But it's not exactly Wi-Fi. It's not. I don't know. It's really seems to be mostly part of the Mac ecosystem, but it does work with some Windows things if you've got an AirPlay plugin. So yes, it's great fun. So I can, James is in charge of the cats and the audience.
Right.
In charge of this. Wah, wah. And to be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. Turned it off. Plasma ignition. Oh right, let's try something else. Oh, I haven't. Right, a lot of these I haven't actually installed. What's furry sweep? What is it thing? Oh, how do I install it? I don't know. Anyway, you don't want to know either. Look at them all. Look at them all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm still on. Nothing. What's the point in telling me all these things are not installed? How do I find the ones that are? Keyword. Find the sound. Okay. Well, plasma ignition is the one we're on just now. There we are. Right. So much for my musical endeavours, eh? Right. I think I better go back to GarageBand.
Fun time.
Fair enough. So yes, a little bit for you there. What I can also do is this is Stageverse, which we mentioned last week. This is available on headsets mostly, but it's also... Oh, somebody's got my costume on. Oh God, no, I can't... Look, there we are. I'm basically using my fingers to maneuver on screen, and I can walk onto that, and that should take me to the stadium. And if we're lucky, the Stageverse Stadium. Welcome to the party. Am I in the stadium or not? Isn't this wonderful? You can take one thing and put it in another thing. Yes, that's right. That's where the stadium is. Well,
And I'm taking it and putting it in another thing, and then YouTube's taking it and putting it in another thing.
Oh, this could be funny. All right. Oh yeah, this is a band called Muse, by the way. And if one walks onto that, the show is live. Okay. Now this could be fun. This wasn't available last time. Okay, we're about to go to a live show by a band called Muse in Stageverse. Ooh. Hello, mate. Oops. Where'd he go? Oh. close can I get? I'm asking myself. Well, we're about the same size, convincing in that respect.
Oh, you've got a friend.
Oh, there are a few people in here, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got. I knew how to get to the stage quick. There's different viewpoints you can get to, actually. I think if I turn... No, I don't want to move. I just want to turn. Oh, darn it. I like my avatar here actually as well. Oh, now I'm on. It looks like I'm on stage. Oh boy. Why can't I move anymore? Maybe I'm jammed up. I'm not allowed near the stage. I should be able to. Oh no, that's the stuff. Right. I don't think I'm allowed it. Actually, I seem to be on the stage, but I'm not being allowed to move. Right. Well, who knew this was a music show, folks?
Right. I hope YouTube doesn't feel there's a copyright on that Muse music.
Oh, that's a good point. Right. Oh, right. Yes, of course. I've got a bit of a camera. I can keep myself... I can have myself on or off camera. Okay, well, maybe... Ooh. Oh, yeah. Maybe I... ought to get out of there before anything else happens that gets me banned on YouTube. Oh, no. There we are. Killed everything now. And yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. Right. I had to have something to go out on.
Yeah.
Right, so well, I was about to ask you what you thought of all the links, but now I can ask you what you think about that as well.
Oh, it looks fun to try. I should get it on the Quest. I have it on the Quest. I should just see what it's like to go in to that space with the Questie.
I'd be interested to see what else they do with it, because they've
done
it with Muse concert. They've done it very well, but whether they plan to have a lot more concert options,
right.
Hard to know. They say it looks good, and I actually like the avatar in there.
Oh, good.
It looks enough like me to be, a cartoon me, but
that's definitely a bonus.
Yeah. So anything else? Any thoughts on anything else that we were discussing?
No, I think I'm good. I'm not happy about the end of October ever, but
oh god,
that's all right.
Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, we've still got a week before the trick and treat starts. But officially, but like in the virtual spaces, it's 2 months old already. But well, it's all autumn and winter coming on, isn't it? So, if there's one thing you can say about hunker down time, it's not new anymore.
Right.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're used to it.
We're used to it.
Right. Oh god, my screen has gone to sleep. The sensor screen, that is. It will come back. There we are. Right. Okay. Well, I think we can take this opportunity to sign off. Hopefully, we've been on reasonable time today. I don't know. Yes. Well, we're coming up to 90 minutes, so we've got all that. We managed to get all that into 9.5. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's good.
Even the ending.
Even a tour, right?
Yes, exactly. So yes. So it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him.
In other words, it's goodbye from both of us. Me is Mal and he is James. And together, We got AR, we got XR, we got MR, we got all sorts of R. But above all,
We
R.
are.
Indeed, indeed. We will be back same time, same place next week. You can always find this on the my YouTube channel, which is Mal Burns. Available for replay throughout the week and indeed throughout the years to come, should you really want to, unless of course YouTube disappears somewhere, which is fairly unlikely. I think. They're not one of the fly-by-night companies. Especially as they're owned by Google anyway these days. So I shall wish you a safe week. We all both wish you a safe week. Stay well, stay safe, and stay indoors, or at least stay away from crowds and horrible spreading plagues and that sort of stuff. I don't like to mention it, but it is necessary. So keep it cool, keep it subdued. And anyway, see, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you can celebrate the fact it's getting colder because it won't feel so bad if you stay indoors. And if you're wondering about what you can do when you're stuck indoors, there's this thing called the M word, which there's lots of virtual spaces, put it that way, that you can jump into to enjoy create a whole new social life for yourself, or play exotic games, or collaborate on artistic projects, you name it, you can do it. So that's what to do if you're stuck away at home. This is not necessarily the lonely experience you might think it would be. So until next week, I'm signing off. Goodbye.